Hey there, Senior Leader, and welcome to the Talent Sherpa Podcast. This is where senior leaders come to rethink how human capital really works. I'm your host, Jackson Lynch, and today we are stepping into a truth that most CHROs whisper only to themselves. Being a CHRO is lonely, not occasionally, structurally, all the time. Now, most of you guys know that I'm a Notre Dame guy, and so I was listening to Marcus Freeman at a recent press conference, and he said it perfectly when he, in a moment of unbelievable vulnerability, said, quote, "I do not have anyone to talk to sometimes." That lands so hard because the CHRO seat feels exactly like that, more days than anyone wants to admit. And if you've ever felt that line hit you in the ribs, you're in the right room. But before we start, let me ask you for a quick favor. If this show sharpens your thinking, like it, follow it, and just send it to one leader who might need a reset today. Just pick one of your colleagues and forward it on. That's how we grow the pod and how we continue to bring you this kind of content. And this episode is sponsored by Dripify. If outbound feels complicated, Dripify makes it simple. Check the link in the show notes at try.dripify.com/talent Sherpa. All right, let's talk about the loneliness that's baked into the CHRO job and why it matters more than most leaders realize. Now, on paper, it doesn't make any sense. The CHRO seems surrounded by people. And if you're an introvert like me, that's exhausting. Your calendar stays full. Everybody wants your advice. Executives confide in you. Employees look to you when things get hard, and you attend every leadership meeting, including the ones you probably should skip. But here is the part that nobody sees. You are the one person in the organization who absorbs everybody else's emotional load without having anywhere to put your own. You hear the CEO's fears, you hear the CFO's frustrations, you hear the frontline's stress, and you hear the unfiltered truth behind the truth. And every one of those conversations deposits emotional weight onto your desk. And you carry it because confidentiality leaves you no choice. Now, you know which leaders are breaking down long before anybody else notices. You know which teams are cracking. You know which narratives are drifting away from reality. And if you're good, you see these issues months before they surface anyplace else. And when your day ends, you don't have anyone to call and say, "My God, that was a lot." Not your spouse, you shouldn't. Not your team, you can't. Not your peers, that's a really bad idea. And that's why, for me, Marcus Freeman's quote hit so hard. He's in the same spot. I do not have anyone to talk to sometimes. Welcome to the emotional math of the CHRO role. Now, here's the trap most CHROs fall into. You mistake the loneliness for something personal. You assume that you are the only one feeling it, and you assume that you are missing something that everybody else has figured out. But loneliness is a predictable outcome of the seat itself. And three patterns, I think, make it worse. First, you end up tightening your circle. You start telling yourself that nobody else understands the full picture, so your world shrinks. And as a result of that, your isolation grows. Second, you cannot lean on your team. They rely on you for promotions, opportunities, directions. They can't carry your emotional weight and still do their jobs. And plus, all of a sudden now you're in a weird spot as a leader. And then third, your peers expect you to be their pressure valve, not the other way around. They unload on you and then they walk out lighter. You walk out heavier. All of those things sound really responsible, but they quietly drain your energy. And if you do not manage it well, that loneliness becomes a silent performance risk for the business. So what do we do about it? Let's flip the lens. Loneliness in the CHRO seat is not a flaw. It's data. It's telling you that you sit at the only vantage point with full visibility into people, performance, politics, culture, and leadership behavior. The CEO sees strategy, the CFO sees capital, the COO sees execution. You see everything all at once. That system view is really powerful. It allows you to make a huge impact on the business, but it also isolates you unless you design the world intentionally. Now, Marcus Freeman was not saying that he didn't have friends. I'm sure he has a lot. If he needs another one, I'm available. He also wasn't saying that he doesn't have a caring spouse. He is very, very tight with his wife. And he has plenty of folks in his house. I think he has like 7 kids. What he was saying is that leadership requires carrying weight that nobody else can shoulder with you. And CHROs know that feeling better than any other role in the business. So once you understand that loneliness is built into the architecture, you can stop trying to eliminate it and start trying to build scaffolding around it. And that is when your job becomes sustainable. So I like to try to keep things pragmatic and practical here. Here are 5 moves that a sitting CHRO can deploy this week. Play number 1, build your external circle. You need 2 or 3 CHRO peers outside your company who can hear your truth without needing context. This is where you can decompress safely. And honestly, don't let the lawyers know. They'll make you do an NDA, but just have a friend DA. It will work. Everyone does it who is successful at managing this weight. Now, play number 2 is you got to identify an internal thought partner. Now, before you start saying, hey, wait a minute, that sounds like a bad idea. It might be true. Someone like the CFO or general counsel, though, is who I've relied on. And what you're doing is you're not sharing secrets, you are sharing patterns. And that gives you a pressure release without breaking any truth or any confidentiality. Play 3 is you need to create emotional buffers. And that could look like different things for each individual, but CHROs do carry nonstop emotional labor. 10-minute pauses between heavy conversations, maybe listening to music, maybe calling a friend, maybe sitting in silence, a little meditation, maybe sitting on one of those balance balls. Like whatever you need to do, figure it out so that you can reset so the weight doesn't stack into burnout. Play number 4 is to push more operational work to your leaders. When you carry their job and yours, the loneliness accelerates. High-performing CHROs, they use their team as force multipliers rather than emotional cushions. And play number 5, protect your energy like capital. CHRO energy has the same value as cash. Treat it that way. When you burn it recklessly, you and the entire system will pay for it. Now, if your coffee is still warm at this point, congratulations. You either started at the temperature of lava or you've paced yourself like a veteran. Either way, let's see if we can land this plane. Here are the 4 key takeaways. Number 1, the CHRO role is lonely because the system relies on you to be its emotional shock absorber. Nobody else can do that role. Number 2, the loneliness grows when you try to carry everything yourself. Number 3, you need external peers, internal partners, and real boundaries to stay effective. And 4, loneliness is not a sign of weakness. It is a reminder to reinforce your scaffolding. So thanks for spending time with me today. And a brief shout out to Eva from Amsterdam. Thank you for being a part of the Talent Sherpa community. And if you want to know where to start as a leader, you can begin by defining and designing role clarity alongside an AI partner. That is where Scott Morris and his company Propulsion AI comes in. You can find out more at getpropulsion.ai. And if you're a first-time CHRO preparing for the seat, I would love to work with you. You can visit mytalentsherpa.com. And I write a best-selling Substack at talentsherpa.substack.com. Don't forget to check that out too. And of course, thanks to Dripify, you can find the link in the notes below, but that lets them know that you found them through us and it helps the pod. So please check them out. So until next time, raise the bar, build a supportive community, and keep on climbing.